So today I want to speak on a few things that I wish I would have been told or had learned that I found incredibly helpful, especially when you are in a situation where you feel like there's nothing that I can do to change my situation. And I, powerlessness is just often there's no other response. Like nobody else can change I can't make anybody else change the situation. So I just want to talk about some things that I learned about invisibility and overcoming invisibility, learning to be seen, and learning to take your life into your own hands, and just kind of the practical steps of cause and effect that will happen. And I'm doing this video, one, because I feel it's important, and two, because one of the things I wish is that I had somebody who had taken the steps and can confirm what I'm internally feeling to me externally. So I'm hoping that this video does that for you. The first thing that I learned is to master abundance, you let things be simple. Let yourself know the answer. And what I learned is the simple answer, the answer that you feel inclined or desired to towards, is often the answer. It just sometimes doesn't look like it's always possible, but to hold that with an open hand and to move forward to the next step, knowing that, okay, I'm going to allow this to be the answer, and then I'm going to move forward, and if it changes, then we'll allow it to flex. The other thing is to keep in mind to say what you want to say or to speak up. One of the things I had trouble with was the perception and the feeling, and the society often pushes it, is this is what makes other people feel comfortable, or don't say this because you don't want them to feel guilty because they won't respond a certain way. But internally, you know what to say, you know what to do, and to say it. And that sometimes that way of saying it is the thing that's going to trigger a new reality for you and for the other people around you. Sometimes what you feel is harsh is the reality that is needed to push the needle. I'm taken back to when I was working at this job, and all of a sudden they shut down various departments, and this was a very poorly organized organization, and nobody knew what those departments did. They didn't like the manager, so they shut them down, and everyone was so fearful that they could not speak. And leading up to that point, I just kept feeling this urge to like clear out my inbox and just do like all sorts of random things, but also my internal self was being built. Like I just felt to focus on certain aspects of myself. And I realized that when this happened, that everyone was so full of fear, and I was the only one that was not. And not only that, I was the only one that was given not an advance notice, but at time, because I happened to be on vacation while everybody else was enduring this. And so I basically had time to think about what I was going to say. And because of my frustration, I was able to speak up for all those people that were not able to speak up for themselves. I was able to sit in rooms that they were not able to do, and not only speak wisdom, but effect change in those moments. And sometimes that is necessary. It is necessary to be the one that says the unconventional truth, to say the thing that doesn't sound nice, to do the things that feel unconventionally true. The next thing that I learned is to live your life open and honestly. Once again, piggybacking on that idea, I was talking to my mother about this, and one of the things I was asking her, like, how do I come up with responses, specific things? She's like, well, nobody wants to be, I forgot what it was, but nobody wants to be blamed for something. Nobody wants to say, like, I told you so, or something like that. And I felt this, like, feeling that I've been feeling my whole life, this feeling of being stuffed down, this feeling of being edited. And I realized that that was the thing that was keeping me stuck. That I wasn't saying what I wanted to say. That I wasn't doing what I wanted to do. And I wasn't doing what was authentic to me, what I knew to be right, what I knew, even though it looked wrong, this is the right thing to say. This is the right thing to move. Often being stuck, I also say, you're not stuck. You just insert excuse. You don't feel like the mountain can move. You just feel like the thing that you feel to do is wrong. And when you are stuck, if you're already going to be stuck, you might as well do the thing that you feel to do. The next available step. Which leads me to my next thing, that people are able to consider your best interest. That's one of the assumptions that you make that you don't understand. And saying the truth, living in your authentic truth, what begins to happen is you do weed out the people who don't like being told, told you so. You need to say things a certain way. I apologize, it looks dark, but this is what I got. But what ends up happening is, as you begin getting an aversion to them, you start pulling into people who crave authenticity, who want that clear, concise, or even long-winded way of doing things. They need that detail-orientedness. I want to remind you that those are often people in high spaces. And so you need to let yourself be distanced from the lower people, from the sheep, and go up to the people that are are making the decisions, and that will impact your life, because those are the people that can hear the truth and they crave it and they look for it. I was listening to one person and she said, you have to understand that not everyone is able, when you start making the decision to be authentic, not everyone is able to handle that. And so you need to place the priority on finding people that are able to handle somebody living out loud, somebody being true to themselves, to somebody doing what have you. And this is what you need to understand. And the mindset that I took that helped me transition into that was that I'm looking at my notes here, that there are people who are able to consider your best interest. And if you cannot find them, you consider yourself. Because if we're having this dialogue, it's probably you're the one who's able to do this. So you think about, when you give to people, do you go, oh, are you my friend or not? Do I know you or not? No, you give to people based on what you have and what you're able to do at the time. Do you create all these inconsistencies? No. Now the world does, but you don't. So why not? Why are you not able to find somebody else like that? Like, why is nobody else in the world like that? That's not true, right? People are able to consider your best interest as you consider their best interest without needing anything, as you sense their needs before they even speak, so they're able to sense yours. I want to remind you that acceptance, or which is a theme that you will find in your life, acceptance is allowing the truth of how you feel to stand even with no way out. I want to remind you that life is too short to suffer with people. And often when we are pushed, especially by average people, to be in this box, to be small, to be long suffering, that you're only on this earth for a short period of time and you are here to do a specific job, and it is too short to not do that job, and it's too short to suffer with people who do not want to change, because the suffering is indicating that they are not willing to change. So you need to leave. The last thing is, I want to remind you, and you probably already heard this message before, to let go of the things that don't serve you. And sometimes when you're in the middle of a hard period and you're crying out going, what is going on, especially if it's something you haven't entered before, the answer you'll get back is, everything that does not serve you is going away. And everything does not serve you. It's not this like weird, a lot of us who grew up in the church, in any church, it's like this weird long suffering for God. And it's not this mystery. What it is everything that you don't like. You don't like your apartment. You don't like your car. Let it go. It's falling away. And you have to trust that new things will fall in. Until next time.